So, Season 4 has ended, and so has Jurassic World Chaos Theory. But the fans aren't ready to say goodbye to the campers just yet. So, what happens next? Well, in this video we're going to be breaking down and speculating the possibility of the future for Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous and Chaos Theory, and how there may be a third animated show and what direction that show might go in. But again, this is all entirely speculation, as right now it's not looking good, but we'll get into that later in the video. We've posted a ton of Jurassic World Chaos Theory content here on the channel lately, and I'm so excited to continue making more content, so go ahead, press that subscribe button, as we are aiming for 300,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and it's going to be a very close one because we are just about 10,000 subscribers away, so I need all of your help as much as possible right now. If you enjoyed this video at any given moment, then of course leave a like, as it does help out the channel more than you can imagine. And we have so many more videos planned for the future, whether that be for the Jurassic movies, the animated series, or even the video games. We're still doing our series of Jurassic World Evolution 3, the Site B rebuild, so don't worry, that will be coming soon. It was supposed to be uploaded yesterday, but unfortunately, for some reason, my apartment decided to flood up to 4 inches deep in water. So that was, that was not fun. So do forgive me for no upload yesterday. But without any of me rambling and ranting, it's time to discuss what happens next for the animated sector of the Jurassic franchise. So Jurassic World Chaos Theory ended on Season 4, and the way that Season 4 ended was really nice, satisfying, and enjoyable. It had everything pretty much filled to the brim of excitement, of cries, of tears, of joys, everything. It was a fantastic way to bow out this wonderful experience and story from Camp Cretaceous all the way to Chaos Theory. And within the ending, we did make an ending explained video discussing the possible avenues and factors that were discussed in the last section of episode 9 for season 4, basically to just give you guys an insight of what this in-universe story might turn out to be, whether that be on-screen or off-screen. And we discussed a lot of possible stories, one of which with the Biosyn Valley still operational with Darius Bauman. We even have Dr. Henry Wu now working with the campers, which also makes things very interesting, especially for his character. But then we also noticed that there was a subtle line drop in there regarding a heart specialist for Ben. Now, of course, as we know of Jurassic World Rebirth, the whole idea and the whole concept of that plot was to find DNA so that they could create a cure for heart disease. So there is potential out there for a third animated show, but I do want to go ahead first and manage some expectations here. According to my interview with the showrunner and executive producer of Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous and Chaos Theory, Scott Creamer, he says, and he is being truthful here, there is absolutely nothing planned for the future regarding these campers.
Where does it go from here from the campers? Because we last see them reunited together back in the US, presumably at the end of 2022, just around the ending of Dominion, I guess. And I believe I also saw in a recent article that you mentioned you do have a story in mind leading into Rebirth. So can you tell me a bit more about that?
Yeah, well, unless you've got a bunch of money in a studio, I don't know if that's ever going to happen. Right. Yeah, I have a kernel of an idea that would be cool, but again, you don't get to tell a story of animated characters over 90 episodes very often. So this is probably where the story ends for them, as heartbreaking as that is for me. But, I also said at the end of Camp Cretaceous, that's it, we're done. And I wasn't lying at the time, but then, so I'll never say never. But right now I can say, as far as I know, there's no plans to.
Of course, yeah. It just depends on, I assume, the higher ups and where they want to take the franchise, because we're going into a new era now with Rebirth. So, yeah, and there's a big time gap between Rebirth and Dominion. So I'm sure there's plenty of room for a possibility of stories there, whether it's with the campers or someone else or whatever.
Sure.
So, could we see a trilogy of animation someday?
Who knows? I would love, I would love to do it, but the story would have to warrant it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've got some ideas, but it would, we've always tried to do justice to these characters and also to the community that has supported the show. So we wouldn't want to make one just to make one. Yeah. Like when I first had the kernel of the idea for Chaos Theory, the only thought that was driving me was, if I was going to do another one of these shows, this is the one I'd want to do. This is one I'd want to see. And then luckily the audience, for the most part, agreed.
But that's nothing planned yet. Of course, the same situation happened with Chaos Theory, and then I believe towards the latter stage of 2022 there was confirmation of some open casting calls happening for an untitled Jurassic World animated show at DreamWorks, and that's the first ever time we knew about Jurassic World Chaos Theory. So we might just be in a similar boat. We may just need to let time go on, and then sometime in 2026, we may have our first sneaky details popping up on the internet regarding a third animated show, but right now, absolutely nothing is planned. However, the showrunner has confirmed in my interview that he does have an idea about a story leading up to Jurassic World Rebirth. So if we do get lucky and Universal and Amblin give the green light to DreamWorks and Netflix for a third animated show and it is approved, then we have to face facts here that it is most likely going to be one of, or maybe a similar story that the showrunner has in mind, and that story will lead into Jurassic World Rebirth. I'm not saying that it will be the campers on the island, or it will be the campers finding their way to Isla Saint Hubert or something. It will be probably their own story, but it will explain a few things that Jurassic World Rebirth certainly failed to do so, especially with no marketing media website, which was a big loss for the movie. And with that being said, I really do hope that this third animated show does something like that. But let's be a little bit truthful here and return down to earth. If we were to have a show that will lead into Jurassic World Rebirth, and if we have to be realistic here and think about the characters and the attributes that they brought to Camp Cretaceous and Chaos Theory, if the potential third animated show goes into Jurassic World Rebirth, I don't think that we will see the whole cast of the Nublar 6 returning. We may see one or two, but I don't think we'll see all of them. And honestly, it might be a little bit of a controversial take, but I would actually be very down for that. We got to know them in Camp Cretaceous, we fleshed them out very deeply in Chaos Theory, and we got to fall in love with them forever in Chaos Theory. But if we were to have a third animated show, then I think it's time for some new characters. If we were to cut down the Nublar 6, it then allows for some new main characters in this universe. Sure, all of them are great and they're fantastic, but it would be nice to see a mix between some returning and some new characters. After all, there are nearly 6 years between the events of Jurassic World Chaos Theory Season 4 and Jurassic World Rebirth, so that's plenty of time for them to also make new friends, especially since they're living their own lives and doing their own thing. As we know, Chaos Theory Season 4 takes place in mid-November 2022, and Jurassic World Rebirth takes place in the summer of 2028. But then that would also make you think, who would be the ones set to return? Well, honestly speaking, I think only Darius and Ben will be the most likely ones to return for a story that leads into Jurassic World Rebirth, only because Darius is still currently working with dinosaurs at Biosyn. We're probably going to need some experience with dinosaurs, especially dinosaurs in their natural habitat, and anything to explain further on about what Biosyn were doing between 2022 and 2028. And then we also have Ben, who is quite obvious at the end of Season 4, he needs to see a new heart specialist, so there is a potential here that Ben may have some kind of brand new heart condition that he now has to worry about. So that will give him motive and meaning to be a part of this story leading into Jurassic World Rebirth, and maybe even tie in a few threads here and there for maybe even Parkergenix, who knows, because again, we still don't know too much about that company. So with Ben having a heart condition and with Parkergenix searching for a cure for some kind of heart condition in Jurassic World Rebirth, they are very similar plots. So I think it's quite obvious that Ben has to be a part of this. The other campers, however, well, they don't really have that story or overlap to continue into a potential leading up to Jurassic World Rebirth, which is actually really good because that means it leaves space for new characters that we get to know on a deeper level. We already know everything about these campers pretty much, so having them back for a third time, yes, it would be nice to see them again, but I just think it's a little bit over the top because there's not really too much character development that you can delve into now, and it's probably time for some brand new dynamics and some brand new characters as well. So in conclusion, what happens next? What happens after Season 4 of Jurassic World Chaos Theory? Well, these campers are obviously living their own lives. We know that. We know that Sammy is now talking to her parents. We know that Yasmina's doing these conferences, working with Dr. Wu. Darius is at Biosyn now. We have Ben trying to heal, and Kenji probably doing his own thing, and Brooklyn also doing her own thing as well. So we know that they are probably going to go out and live their own lives, but the only members of the Nublar 6 that have any correlation to a potential Rebirth story, or at least a story leading into Rebirth, would obviously be Darius and Ben, so we're probably going to have those fleshed out, and maybe some 2 to 3 extra new main characters would also be really nice to see as well. So after Jurassic World Chaos Theory, right now nothing is planned, but there are certainly some ideas on the drawing board if they were to get approved, and hopefully it means that we will see some of the campers return, and at the very least, a very well-deserved trilogy for the animated sector of the Jurassic franchise. Anyways guys, that's where we're going to drop off in today's video. Thank you so much for watching. It was very interesting to actually think about this because there were a few details that we do know of so far about what the third installment of the Jurassic animated sector might be, and at this point in time, whilst nothing is confirmed, it still piques our curiosity, and if anybody at Universal or Amblin is watching this, I am begging you, please make that third animated series. It is very well deserved, and considering that you really dropped the ball with the marketing media website in Jurassic World Rebirth, I think that's probably one of the main issues for the movie, is that it didn't have anywhere to explain its many loose ends and plot holes. That's usually where the marketing websites come into play, but for some reason we didn't have that for Rebirth. So hopefully this third animated show leading into Rebirth, if it does lead into Rebirth, it could literally be anything else, but if it does lead into Rebirth, hopefully we'll be able to tie some pieces up and polish it around the edges. But if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave a like and make sure you're subscribed for your daily dose of Jurassic content here on YouTube. Be sure to also leave your thoughts down in the comments below, but most importantly, make sure you're all staying safe out there, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye. Hey! Did you enjoy the video? Well, why not leave a like and subscribe for more Jurassic content? I appreciate every single one of you for reaching this point into the video and supporting me this far. If you wish to support me even further, then feel free to head on down to the description where you can find links to donate, my Patreon, and you can also press that join button to become a member here on YouTube and gain access to some awesome emojis. A massive thank you to all of the YouTube members for this month, as well as the amazing fans over on Patreon too. Your extra bit of support really goes a long way. But for now, I wish you a great rest of your day.